Ask me that again. Sup? Yo, I'm recording. Alright. If you 20 and up, still doing sleepovers, don't talk.
This happened just a few years ago, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Me and my friend Ethan had planned to have a sleepover at some point during the summer.
Right.
Me and Ethan were pretty close friends ever since we met, and we liked hanging out with each other all the time. We were only 15.
We can be close friends. Hell, we can be family members. We can be in a relationship. We can be the best of co-workers. For 10 years, 15 years straight. Hell, all of our lives. You do some clock shit, it's racks. Divorce paper is like a mother clock.
16 when the story occurred.
Oh, Jesus.
On this day, I was outside playing basketball when I got a call from Ethan. He asked me if I wanted to come over for the night because his parents were on a weekend trip. I told him that I would ask my parents, and when I did, they said that I could go. It was a Friday, and we would be able to hang out for the weekend. I packed my stuff and left my house. Ethan's house was only about a half a mile away from my house, so I could just walk there and be there within 10 minutes. Things were peaceful and quiet while I walked, but about halfway through, I saw a man at the end of the road. He was walking in my direction, but was walking on the left side of the street, and I was on the right. I thought nothing of it, but then the man started walking towards me. I was really alarmed by this because I didn't know who it was. When he got closer, I could now see what the man looked like. He was very tall, maybe 6'4", and wore a green jacket and jeans. I wondered what he wanted, and was kind of getting freaked out because I was pretty short at 15 and only about 5'5".
Green jacket and jeans.
The man asked me where I was headed. I told him I was just going to a friend's house, and he just...
What? That's a complete stranger talking to you, and you're 16.
said, okay, and then continued walking. I found this really strange, but I just kept walking towards Ethan's house, which was now about 5 minutes away. When I got there, he was sitting on the couch waiting for me. We talked for about 10 minutes before turning on his Xbox and started playing video games. We ended up sitting there playing for a full 3 hours before getting tired.
Damn.
It was now about 9 p.m. or so, and we headed upstairs to Ethan's bedroom to decide how we would sleep. After that, we got pretty hungry, especially me, because I hadn't eaten anything in a long time. Ethan said he would order us a pizza since he didn't feel like cooking. Either that, or he probably didn't know how to cook. He was about to pick up his living room phone, when suddenly it started ringing. I was weirded out by this, but Ethan thought it was his parents, so he picked it up. When he did, all we heard was what sounded like somebody breathing on the other end.
I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of these people, these cluck-ass mother cluckers, calling people and just breathing on the phone. I'm tired of these getting one off niggas.
I had a heart attack when I heard this, but Ethan had a confused look on his face. He then hung up the phone and started to dial the number for the nearest pizza place. He ordered and then hung up, and they said that they would be there in about 15 minutes. When the pizza arrived, Ethan paid the delivery guy, and then he left. We turned the TV back on and decided to watch a movie until we finished the pizza. We watched about 30 minutes of it, and then turned it off and headed upstairs. We were both pretty tired and were going to go to bed. As soon as we went upstairs, though, we heard the living room phone ring again. We thought this was strange, and plus, it was pretty late at night. Ethan and I walked back downstairs to answer the phone, but when we did, we heard the same breathing from earlier. Now I was officially creeped out. Ethan was now really annoyed, and he told whoever it was to stop or he would call the police. Looking back, I don't know why he even said that, because when he did, I could see the fear in his face when the person on the other end of the phone spoke. He didn't harass Ethan or anything, but he did say something worse than that, at least in my opinion.
How you going? This is what I imagine. This is what I imagine what he heard on the other line. Cause you know he get one off. I'm about to bust.
The person on the phone said Ethan's real home address. As soon as he said that, Ethan had a face of fear and yelled at the person, demanding what he was talking about. "Look outside your living room window," they said. When we did, our hearts dropped, and this is something that I'll never forget.
Why would you look outside?
Directly in the middle of Ethan's front lawn was a man. We couldn't believe what we were looking at. We couldn't even see who it was now because of how dark it was. Ethan hung up the phone and continued to stare at the person. This lasted for about 30 seconds, when suddenly, without warning, the man literally sprinted to the front door. When he reached it, he started slamming his whole body against it, over and over again. Ethan and I ran upstairs and locked ourselves in his parents' bedroom. Ethan then took out his cell phone and called the police. They said they would arrive in 5 minutes, and it made us feel a little bit better. About 3 minutes later, the man stopped slamming his body to the door, and we assumed that he left. About another 2 minutes later, the police arrived and did a search of the entire neighborhood, but couldn't find who the guy was. They told us that if anything else happened, to not hesitate to call again. When they left, we went back to Ethan's bedroom and talked about what had happened. I'll skip the entire conversation.
Why would I call again? Why would I call again when your mother clucker should be outside this whole night?
But it will make a little more sense later. We were able to half sleep at around 12:30 or so. At around 3 in the morning, I was woken up by a knock at the front door. I woke up Ethan, and we both headed downstairs. We looked out of the window again, but this time didn't see anyone. But when we looked at the front door, we could see who it was. We saw that it was the same man that messed with us just 3 hours ago. We ran upstairs and called the police. They said they were on their way, but I was still worried about the man trying to break in. There was also no way we were going to fight back, because this guy was very tall. Like I said before, I was only 5'5" at 15, and Ethan was only 5'7" at 16. We stayed in his parents' bedroom for about 5 minutes until we heard the sound of glass breaking coming from the living room. The man walked around downstairs for about 3 minutes before heading upstairs. We ran to Ethan's parents' bathroom and hid in there. About 2 minutes later, we heard the police sirens coming from about a block away. The police were able to make it inside. Ethan and I walked out into the hallway and saw downstairs the police were holding the man, only something seemed familiar about him. My heart skipped a beat when I realized it was the same man who I had talked to on my way to Ethan's.
Yup. You know, you could have said you encountered a cluck ass on the way to my house. You could have said that. But you know how I would have reacted if you would have said it. Said, I don't blame you. But because you didn't say nothing, you got me clucked up in the process. You got me in this cluck ass situation. Cluck you and everything that you stand for. Give me those divorce papers. Because if you would have said something as soon as you would have got to my house, I would have never let you in. And it would have just been you and that stranger.
The police left with him, but we couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. At around 7 in the morning, I packed my stuff up and left. When I got back to my house, my parents were in the kitchen. They asked me how the sleepover was.
It was horrible.
I said it was good.
Mom, no, it was horrible, Mom. It was horrible. It was horrible, Mom. Alright? And cluck you for not teaching me the Adidas ways. You taught me everything else in the book. You taught me some Jordan ways, some Reebok ways, some Converse ways, some Vans ways, you know. But not Adidas ways. Cluck you.
Because I didn't want to talk about it. Then I just went into my bedroom and laid on my bed, tired and exhausted. The next day, my parents got a call from Ethan's parents, and they told them that they didn't want me back at their house again. My mom looked confused when they said that, and asked what they were talking about. They said that I broke the living room window, but I...
Technically, this is your fault. I mean, they lying, but you did bring the cluck shit to his place. So technically, this is your fault, you ass.
Hear Ethan telling his parents in the background that it wasn't me. I told my mom the whole story, and she believed me. They ended up arguing on the phone for a full 5 minutes before hanging up. That was the last time I went to Ethan's house, but at least we could have sleepovers at my house from that point on.
What?
I guess after the man continued walking after speaking to me, he must have followed me to Ethan's house, which explains how he got his address. Me and Ethan are still friends today, and nothing like that has ever happened since. To this day, I still wondered why the man followed me to his house.
How did he get the number, though? Did I miss that part? How did he get the number? Hold on.
This is something that happened back when I was a kid. I believe I was about 8 or 9 years old. During that time, I had a lot of friends at school, and sometimes would hang out with them. One of my friends was named Adam, and he was having a birthday party that I got invited to.
Adam? Your name? What's up, Adam? What was his full name? His first and last name? Adam? Toby Adams. Jesus Christ.
The party was on a Friday after school, and there was going to be a sleepover at Adam's house. Not that many other people were invited. I think just 5 or 6 people, if my memory is correct.
God damn.
I knew most of the guys pretty well, but a few of them not so much.
Okay. There's a difference between you saying you know somebody real well, pretty well, and not so much. Saying pretty well and not so much in a confined space, nah.
After school on Friday, I went home, and then my mom dropped me off at Adam's house sometime in the afternoon.
His name is
I don't remember all that well what we did, but I know there was pizza and ice cream. That night, though, we all went into Adam's basement to watch a movie.
Basement?
We were all going to be sleeping in Adam's basement. It was pretty nice down there, and in the main living room area down there, they had a large TV. There were a few couches, and one person could sleep on each one. The rest of us would sleep on the floor in sleeping bags. After Adam's parents went to bed upstairs, all of the lights in the house were out, and we were watching the movie. Adam's basement was not completely below ground, so there was a little window near the top of the wall that was behind us.
God damn.
I remember that during the movie, for whatever reason, I randomly turned around and looked to the window. When I did, something caught my eye. I couldn't see all that well, but it looked like a man was looking in. I tapped on the shoulder of whoever was next to me. I don't remember who it was, but he looked back and we both saw the guy. That's when the kid next to me stood up. Everyone saw him stand up, and then he was like, "Who is that guy?" Everyone looked towards the window. The crazy part is that the guy was still there looking in. He didn't even move. He was definitely a grown man, but none of us recognized him. Everybody then started freaking out. We all ran upstairs, and Adam went to wake up his parents. About a minute later...
Why would y'all all go upstairs? Why would y'all all go upstairs? At least one person, maybe two, should just keep their eyes on the mother clucker. And let somebody else, let Adam go upstairs and get his parents. Jesus.
Adam's parents went downstairs to look, but the man was gone by then. I remember that Adam's dad went outside with a flashlight and looked all around the house. He came back in maybe 5 minutes later and said whoever had been there was gone.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't know exactly what time it was then, but it was pretty late. Maybe like 11 p.m. if I had to guess. Adam's parents asked all of us if anybody wanted to go home. They said they could call our parents, and if we didn't want to spend the night, it was fine. Everybody wanted to stay, though. I think we all figured that it was some random guy looking in for whatever reason, and he wouldn't come back. Plus,
but you don't see how clucked that shit is? You don't see that at all. That's crazy. Shut the hell up. It's a nice ass basement. TV right here, TV right there. Jesus.
There were like 6 of us, so it didn't feel quite that scary. After that, Adam's parents went back to bed, and all of us kids went back into the basement. There, we resumed our movie. Occasionally, I looked back at the window, as did a few other kids, but none of us saw the man at all. He seemed to be gone for good. After the movie, most of us got pretty tired. I was sleeping on the floor, and I got into my sleeping bag and quickly fell asleep. The next thing I remember is waking up. When I did, I remember noticing that it was still completely dark. I wanted to go back to sleep, but I wasn't really that tired. I sat up and looked around. That's when I saw the guy looking in the window again. He was just as he had been before. I couldn't believe it. I crawled over to whoever was closest to me, and it was a kid named Darian. I pointed to the window, and when Darian saw it, he started running for the stairs. I followed him, and when we made it up, Darian began knocking on Adam's parents' bedroom door. They soon woke up, and after we told them that the guy was back, they called the police. We went back downstairs, and the guy was now gone once more. The police came out, and everybody woke up. The man was not found, though, and had left. We all stayed up for the rest of the night. I think it was like 4 a.m. when the guy came back the second time. After that, all of our parents were called pretty early in the morning, and they came and got us. I would guess that the man never went back to Adam's house after that. If he did, I think Adam would have told me. That was definitely the scariest experience I've ever had at a sleepover, though.
I wish I caught the guy. Well, I hate when people leave. Because 9 times out of 10, the person's not going to be there.
When I was a kid, my best friend's name was Will. Will and I would stay over at each other's houses all the time. It was always a lot of fun when we would have sleepovers, and usually we would watch movies or play video games. This happened when we were both 11 years old. I remember that I went over to Will's house to spend the night. He lived just a few miles from me, and Will had a kind of large backyard. There was also a bit of a woods back there as well. After I went to Will's house, we probably just played video games. That's what we usually did. I remember that his parents went to bed, but we stayed up late. We were in Will's bedroom, and he had a TV in his room. At probably like 1 o'clock in the morning, we were still gaming and going strong. It was the summertime, and we didn't have school the next day or anything. But also because it was summer, Will's room got kind of hot. I remember he walked over to open up his window because it was cool at night outside. There was also a breeze, but after opening up his window, I heard him say, "That's weird." I wondered what exactly he was talking about. When I asked him, he said that he thought he saw somebody in his backyard. I got up and walked over to him to look. We hadn't been able to see out of his window because he always had it covered with a blanket. He also didn't have a great view of things unless you were standing right by the window and looking out of it. When I looked, I didn't see anybody. Will said that the guy was gone now. There were quite a few trees and bushes in Will's backyard.
Wow.
Hearing that Will thought he saw a man back there was creepy, but it was also kind of exciting. I asked Will where he was and what he looked like and stuff. Will said that he only saw the guy for like a second, and he went behind one of the trees, so he didn't get a good look. He also said that he was kind of far away. We kept watching the window for quite a while, but didn't see anything. Will then asked me if I wanted to go out there. I guess we were feeling brave. I said yes.
You want to go out? All right. You want to go out there? Ask me that again. Ask me that again. You could shut the hell up on it. You could go out there by yourself. Go out there by yourself, and you let me know how your experience was with that cluck ass out there. Because I'm not going out there. And best believe I'm locking all shits when you go out there. Because if you come back banging on the door and shit, banging on the window, I just so happen to be deaf and blind at the same time. So I can't see you banging on the door. I can't hear you banging on, you know. You can go out there. I'm good right where I am. Cluck is you talking about? Ask me that again, I'm going to cluck your ass up. Pause.
It was really dumb looking back, and we should have just stayed inside.
No shit.
But we decided to go outside and look around to make sure that things were okay. We left Will's bedroom and walked through his house to the back door. We decided to go out of the back door for his garage, which was connected to the house. After we got outside, it was very dark and quiet. There was the sound of leaves rustling in the wind, but that was it. We walked close to the house at first, just looking.
That's crazy as hell. This is a scary ass like review, right? Jesus.
around. Everything seemed fine. We quickly went from feeling kind of nervous to relaxed. It seemed like whoever was in the backyard was gone now. We walked a little bit farther out into Will's backyard and got kind of distracted by finding one of Will's footballs. It was lying behind a tree from where we had lost it in the yard not long before. Will picked it up and threw it at me. We started to toss the ball around a little bit, and we kind of wandered off to the back part of his yard by the woods.
Oh my God!
It was then that we heard a noise coming from sort of by the house. We looked back and saw a man coming out behind a bush about 10 feet from the side of his house. The guy then went right up next to his house and on the side of it. He then disappeared out of our sight. The man did not look in our direction, and we didn't know if he knew we were back here or not. There was a good chance that he had heard us, though. We were probably at least 100 feet away. Now we were in a tough spot. We wanted to go back inside, but we're so far away from the house. Will said that we had to go back, but I didn't want to go near the guy. The back door to the garage that we came out of was also unlocked. I just hoped that the man wouldn't go over there. The good thing for us was that the garage door was on the opposite side of the house where the man was. By now, the guy was long out of our sight and had disappeared on the side of the house. We didn't know if he was in the front yard now or still on the side. Will and I decided to run back. He counted to 3, and then we both took off, sprinting as fast as we possibly could for the back door. I didn't look in the direction where the man had gone the entire time. I didn't want to know where he was. Pretty soon, we made it to the back door. Will and I both went in as fast as we could, and then closed it. Will locked the door as soon as we were inside the garage. It was a crazy adrenaline rush, and for just a second when we made it in, I felt relieved. But then, we heard the doorknob turn.
Wow.
This was probably less than 5 seconds after Will had locked the door. I couldn't believe it. Will and I ran back to the door leading inside of his house and went inside. We made sure to lock that door as well, and then Will ran up to his parents' bedroom and woke them up. Within minutes, the police were called, and Will and I were hiding under his bed. The police got there a short time later and searched the entire property, but never found the guy. He must have left. We answered questions as best we could, but we never had a very good look at the guy. We only saw him at a long distance and in the dark. I really couldn't tell any significant details about him. After the police left, we finally went to sleep. The guy never returned, luckily. I went to Will's house countless more times after that, and stayed over many times as well. Nothing like that ever happened again.
Cap.
This is the story of the strangest sleepover I ever had. It takes place probably in like 2009 when I was 12 years old.
Are you just not saying
I could be wrong on the year, but that's my best.
It happened in 2009. Are you just not saying something? The hell?
Yes. I have an older sister who's 3 years older than I am. She did a lot of activities growing up and had a lot of friends. I remember that at one point, she made a new friend. I don't even know where, and I don't remember the friend's name, but it was through one of her many activities, like dance or gymnastics or something. I just know that it wasn't through school, because I was told they didn't go to the same school. My sister went to this girl's house maybe once or twice, and I remember my sister telling me that the girl had a brother around my age. She said that he seemed kind of weird, though. I didn't think much of it, but about a week later...
Like, what you mean? Like... Weird? Or clucked weird? You know? Like a likable weird, or like a, I'm gonna clock your ass up because you weird. Like, there's so many different variations of weird. I'm weird, but I'm not clucked.
My sister got invited to her house for a sleepover. I remember her asking my mom, and then my sister said that the girl's brother wanted me to come sleep over as well. This confused me because I had never met the kid. It seemed strange to have a sleepover the first time hanging out. My mom asked me if I wanted to go, and at first, I said that I didn't. I would rather stay home and play video games. But my mom told me that I might enjoy it and make a new friend.
Hey, Ma, what you doing? What you doing? Why you pushing this shit so hard? Why you want me to go over their house so much? Huh? What you trying to do? You trying to get laid? You trying to get some? Huh? You on some clock shit? Like, why you want me to go over there so bad? Ma, if I get clocked up in the process, I'm clucking you up on site.
To have an open mind and go with my sister.
My ass.
Maybe he was cool and we would end up becoming best friends.
My ass.
So that Friday, my mom drove us to their house and dropped my sister and I off. My sister's friend lived kind of on the other side of town, probably like 10 minutes away.
Oh.
We went inside and I met the kid, whose name was Luke. He seemed pretty normal to me at first. His parents were nice, and so was his sister. After meeting everyone, our sisters went off on their own, and I went into Luke's bedroom with him. When we were inside of his bedroom, he didn't really talk to me. I asked him a couple of questions, but he didn't seem that friendly at all, to be honest. He also didn't really seem like the type of person that I would be friends with. We didn't seem to have the same interests. I was really into sports and things like that, and I didn't see any sports stuff around his room at all. I asked him if he liked sports, and he said, "No, I hate them." It was a bit of a letdown for me, but I thought...
He could have just said, "No, I don't like sports." You saying I hate them? It's like, you know I like sports, and then you saying you hate them is like, what? Come on. And also, if your bedroom looks like this, get the hell on.
Maybe we would have some common ground. To be honest though, the kid didn't really seem like he wanted me there at all. It was kind of awkward. He wasn't saying anything, and we were both just standing there looking around. Finally, Luke said that we should go to the park. I thought this was a little bit odd, because the sun was going to be setting soon. I said sure though.
So is that the weird part coming out of him? Yeah. Talking about you want to go to the park with just you and I?
He told me that there was a cool park that he goes to all the time. We left his bedroom and then walked down the hallway and outside of his house. I remember wondering if we should tell his parents that we were leaving or something.
Yeah?
Luke didn't seem concerned about it at all though, so I figured it was alright. We walked down a street to the end of it. Then we turned and walked down another street. We soon went down several more streets. It ended up taking like 20 minutes to get to the park and was a lot farther than I thought it would be. When we got to the park, it was pretty standard. There was a spot with monkey bars and slides and stuff, and then a little field with picnic tables. The whole park was between several residential streets. After a few minutes in the park, Luke pointed to a tree a ways away. He told me to go over there and said there was something cool. I walked over to the tree, not really knowing why. When I got pretty far away from him, I asked him what was over here. He told me to look behind the tree.
Oh! I'm not going to get caught up. Because you talking about go over there. Go next to that tree. Go behind the tree over there. Yeah, that one. Craig. I forgot his name. Craig. Why don't you... let's go over here together. Let's do it together. Let's walk over here together, Craig. Why do I have to go back? It's something dead. Something dead behind that tree, isn't it?
So I did. There was nothing there, though.
Oh.
It was just a random tree in the middle of the park. I looked back over at Luke and yelled, asking him what was over here. When I looked to Luke, though, I saw him running away.
What?
He was just about out of the park already, and he quickly disappeared around the corner. I was so confused. I looked all around, and the park was now completely empty.
Man, my ass, I would have just went straight back to the house. Cluck that. What you, like, are we playing hide and seek now? Like, nah. We not, no. I already don't like it. Nah. It's so many red flags with Craig. And the fact that you just did this shit, I'm going straight to the house. I'm not looking for you. Don't be like, oh, I thought we was playing tag. Oh, I thought we was playing hide and seek. Bitch.
I then walked over to where Luke had left the park. He was nowhere to be seen. I yelled his name as loud as I could several times, but I got nothing in response. By now, it was starting to get dark out. I tried to remember the way that we had come to the park, but I really had no clue. I wasn't very good with directions at that age. I started walking in what I thought was the correct way back. Here and there, I would yell Luke's name, but I never got a response. I kept walking from one street to another. They were all residential and looked similar. There were also lots of streets around there. They were very quiet as well. Pretty soon, it was completely dark out, and I had no clue where I was. Plus, I had no cell phone back then. I wandered around the streets, hoping to get lucky and find Luke's house. I was walking around the streets for probably an hour at least.
God damn.
I was getting more and more worried the longer I was out there. Soon, I saw a small gas station that was on a busier street about a block away.
Where that gas station
I had the idea to go there and see if I could use a phone. I went inside and asked the clerk who was behind the counter if there was a phone that I could use. She asked me what was going on, and I told her what had happened. She let me use her own personal cell phone, and I called my parents. My mom came to the gas station and picked me up. She then called Luke's mom. Apparently, Luke was back home and had been there for a while. Luke had told his mom that I just decided to go home, and I just left. I was really angry about it, and I went home with my mom and played video games for the rest of the night. Looking back, I'm still mad at that Luke kid. I haven't seen him since, but he just led me to the park and left me there, knowing I wouldn't know how to get back. I really hope he's changed and is a better person now. I also think that his parents didn't handle the situation very well. They didn't question it when he told them that I just left. They should have called my parents or something. Anyways, it was a very strange experience, to say the least.
Yeah, the reason Craig's parents didn't handle the situation very well is because he's clucked, they're clucked, the sisters took clucked. Everybody in the house is clucked, so it's like nothing is gonna ever get resolved.
One time back in high school, my best friend Kenzie was going to sleep over at my house. I lived with my parents at the time.
Your best friend Kenzie or Mackenzie?
I'm an only child. I remember that on this night, Kenzie had soccer until a little bit later.
Kenzie.
She played soccer in high school and was in a sort of rec league during the off-season. My parents both worked really early in the morning and usually went to bed at like 9 o'clock. So after that, I was the only one up, and I was in my bedroom watching TV. Kenzie got to my house at probably 9:30 and then went upstairs to my room. It was a weekend, and we would stay over at each other's houses all the time on weekends. After Kenzie came up to my room, we talked for a while. It was probably 15 minutes or so after she got there, at almost 10 p.m., when I heard the front door opening. It was downstairs, and we both heard it very clearly. Immediately, I got a bad feeling. I quickly tried to make sense of it, and figured that maybe my dad got up for some reason. I didn't really know why he would go outside, though. We both stopped talking and listened to downstairs. Shortly after the door opened, we heard it close, and then we just barely heard some footsteps. It was as if somebody had just entered the house. It couldn't be my dad. Plus, I would have heard my dad going down the stairs first if it was. I had no idea who it could be. Then, Kenzie told me that she thought she might have left the front door unlocked when she came into the house.
There are certain things in life that you can be kind of unsure. That you might have, You can be like, I thought, I was supposed to work at 4, but my schedule said 3. Right? Be like, I thought I was supposed to preheat the oven to 400, but it said 375. I forgot to wash my hands after pooping. I thought I brushed my teeth before I went to bed, but I didn't. Saying that you might have forgotten to lock the door, or you might have locked the door, nah, I'm not going for that.
I had left it unlocked for her. We quickly both became very nervous. We listened and didn't really hear any noises. After several minutes, I decided to look. I opened up my bedroom door quietly and tiptoed down the hallway to where I could look down the stairs. I peeked around the corner and saw part of the hallway, kind of by the kitchen and front door. For a while, I saw nothing. Then, suddenly, a man appeared from around the corner. He wasn't looking at me, but as soon as I saw him come into my view, I jumped back and ran back into my bedroom. I closed the door and grabbed my phone to call the police. I told Kenzie that I had seen a man down there. We both hid inside my bedroom closet and waited. But just barely as we hid in there, I heard the front door open and close again. I was pretty sure that the guy had left, whoever he was. I left my room and went just across the hall to wake up my parents. Then I went back into my bedroom and we all waited in our rooms until the police got there. When they did arrive, the intruder was gone. Nothing was stolen or out of place either. It was very strange. Obviously, he had walked in because the door was unlocked, but I still don't know how he knew to go into our house. Did he know that the door would be left unlocked? And why did he enter the house if he didn't bother to steal anything? I don't know, and I may never know. Nothing like that happened again. This was years ago now, but I will never forget it.
Say you forgot to lock the door, or you might have locked the door. That's crazy talk to me. But the one previous to the last story, or the second to the last story, with that kid going to the playground and nah. They said that he was weird. That was a cluck weird. Cause I wonder what his expression, the look on his face, and what he would have said if you found your way back to the house. You know, except to the gas station. Like you knew how to get back to the house. Would it be like an awkward staring, or I'm gonna cluck your ass up? You know, let me catch you slipping. Your ass is mine. Your ass is grass. Your ass is trash. I can just imagine little boy finding his way back home, but like Craig was already there, but he lost him on purpose. But he went back to the what's his name? He went back to the house, opened the front door, Craig right there. I'm good. I'm good. Just, I'm good. Ain't nothing to worry about. Oh my God. Keep it cool, keep it classy. And I love you. Stay happy, my family.